Coronavirus. Facts, not fear, starts now.
Good evening, I'm Caroline Goggin. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, the coronavirus pandemic continues to send shockwaves throughout the country and the world. According to the CDC, there are more than 7,000 reported cases in the U.S. with 97 deaths. New York, California, and Washington state continue to be hit the hardest. Today, New England had its first recorded death as an 88-year-old man died from the disease in Connecticut. On Wall Street, the Dow lost more than 1,300 points today. Nearly all of the gains on Wall Street since President Trump's inauguration have been wiped out since the outbreak began. Among the bad economic news, the country's three big automakers announced today they are shutting down their factories across North America. In response to the pandemic and the economic fallout, the president invoked emergency authority to marshal industry to fight the coronavirus. It's a move that could ease shortages of face masks, ventilators, and other supplies. Well, in Rhode Island, Governor Gina Raimondo announced schools would remain closed for another 2 weeks. The state will instead transition to online learning. Reporter Kim Kalunian has the latest on how the state is trying to help its residents navigate these changes.
With local restaurants now limited to drive-through, takeout, or delivery only, and orders to keep crowds to 25 people or less. Today, Rhode Island's governor is announcing new options and directives for businesses. Amid the coronavirus pandemic, Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo encouraging all businesses to have their employees work remotely.
Microsoft has agreed to provide their Office 365 program for free for the next 6 months to all employers.
The new resource coming alongside newly available small business loans.
That the SBA has approved of our disaster declaration request, and there will now be loans available to all of Rhode Island's small businesses for up to $2 million for working capital.
This as Rhode Island announces 2 new cases, a man in his 50s with extensive travel history and a woman in her 40s. The source of her illness is currently unknown.
These individuals are both at home and they're both recovering. That brings our total number of positives to 23. We have had 403 negative tests, and close to 3,000 people are now self-quarantining.
The health department out with new guidelines directing all dentists to suspend non-urgent treatments for 21 days and calling on families to keep funerals and wakes to 25 people or less.
This is a hard message to deliver, but this guidance is about keeping the other people in your life, those other loved ones in your life, healthy and safe.
Rhode Island is handling this as well, if not better, than any other state. It doesn't mean it's easy. It's still going to get worse before it gets better.
And today, the governor said she will likely have an announcement tomorrow about the status of Rhode Island's public schools closed this week. We will soon find out whether students will return to their classrooms next week or whether they will be employing some distance learning plans. In Providence, I'm Kim Kalunian. Now back to you.
All right, thanks, Kim. Let's head to North Carolina now. The state is seeing a spike in COVID-19 cases as well as complaints about price gouging. Angela Taylor from CBS 17 joins us now live from Raleigh with the latest there. Angela, what are officials down there doing about the price gouging?
So here's what's happening with the price gouging. Attorney General Josh Stein telling us that he's received 136 price gouging calls so far, and it's mostly household products like groceries, hand sanitizers, cleaning products, and of course toilet paper. So what he's asking residents here to do is to call the hotline and just if they've got a complaint about price gouging to let him know. But the other big thing that Stein announced today was scammers. We have people calling residents claiming they have a cure for COVID-19, and if they pay this fee that they will get this antiviral medication sent to their house. Of course, we know that is a hoax because there is no cure for coronavirus right now. So again, Josh Stein just asking our residents to call in his office if they are seeing anything or hearing anything out of the ordinary.
And Angela, coronavirus testing is obviously a hot topic in states across the country right now. How is the state of North Carolina conducting drive-through testing for the coronavirus?
Right. So this is really interesting. So we actually have 2 places that are doing drive-through testing. One of them, UNC Medical Center in Chapel Hill, and also Duke University. So for patients of UNC hospitals, you actually have to be a patient UNC or one of their clinics, and you have to meet certain criteria. And of course, their doctor will be able to tell them if they should be tested: coughing, shortness of breath, fever, or if the patient has been in contact with somebody who had COVID-19. Now, Duke University is a little bit different because they're really doing a limited number of people, a limited number of people. But the one thing that's really interesting about UNC Medical Center is that the test that they're using was actually created by UNC experts. And we also have a second private lab called LabCorp that's doing their own testing. So we have that along with the state doing testing, which is why our numbers continue to change so rapidly.
Now, speaking of those numbers, how many people have been able to get tested for the coronavirus in North Carolina so far?
So right now, state officials are telling us close to 2,000 people have been tested through the state. Now, again, because we've got 3 other people doing testing, those numbers are still coming in. But I can tell you we have a confirmed number of 82 cases of COVID-19 here in North Carolina, and that's across 22 counties. State health officials, again, saying 2,000 tests have been completed, but that will continue to change because we're getting information from 4 different sources.
All right, that's Angela Taylor from CBS 17 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Angela, thank you so much for your time. Well, today, President Trump warned young people to heed the advice to socially distance and to be wary of the coronavirus pandemic. The remarks coming after video out of Florida shows crowds of people lining beaches. President Trump says young people may be feeling invincible, but it's not necessarily their own personal health they need to worry about.
But they don't realize that they can be carrying lots of bad things home to grandmother and grandfather and even their parents. So we want them to heed the advice. We mean the advice, and I think it's getting through. I do believe it's getting through.
On Sunday, the CDC recommended no gatherings of 50 people or more take place for the next 2 months. On Monday, the president said all Americans should avoid groups of more than 10 and advised older people to stay home. Well, of course, some businesses are left reeling by this crisis as they attempt to navigate these uncharted waters. Lauren Halifax from Fox 4 in Kansas City joins us live with more on that. Hi, Lauren.
Hello from Kansas City. Another fast-moving day in our region as we learn more about patients diagnosed with coronavirus. We also learned Missouri now has its first death associated with COVID-19. Missouri said that COVID-19 patient had traveled internationally, had already tested positive, and that patient had been quarantined at home. Family called 911 this morning on a medical emergency. Boone County first responders were aware of the patient's COVID-19 status, so they wore personal protective gear before they went into the home, but they will now still be quarantined just as a precaution. Also, Kansas City area grocery stores are changing how they operate as they experience long lines and the shelves are wiped out. They're taking steps to protect shoppers and employees both, so they're making changes in their protocols and services offered. Sharifa Jackson spoke with shoppers about it.
And shelves are still slim. Shoppers not only dealing with limited supplies at some stores, but limited hours and limited amounts of people that are allowed inside some of these stores. Chains like Walmart are rolling out new hours of operation in order to clean stores and restock supply. Costco capping the amount of shoppers allowed in their stores to 400 at a time. Meanwhile, sanitation practices are being enforced and in overdrive. It's becoming the new normal for stores all across the metro and nationwide. And shoppers say through it all, they are having to develop a new mindset, even for the simplest of tasks.
I just also thought, I'm not getting a cart, I'm just going to carry things. I mean, all these things you have to rethink. But it felt good to get out of the house. I've been in the house for 3 days and just needed to get out, get fresh air.
Many stores shifting to online as coronavirus continues to change how you shop, while places like Dollar General and Target are offering special early morning shopping hours for senior citizens. And to reduce the risk of the virus spreading, some stores are encouraging shoppers to skip the aisles altogether, instead opting for in-store pickup or home delivery. Sharifa Jackson, Fox 4 News.
Now, Lauren, Johnson County
Kansas has the most corona cases in our region now. Now, state health leaders are telling us they have 11 cases now. They have reached the point of what they call community spread. The Department of Health says that marks a fundamental change in how they will respond. The virus tests are now prioritized for the most severe cases. Otherwise, we start running out of tests. And even when we get more tests in, they think that they can overload the labs testing everyone. So they're reserving those for the patients with greatest need. Lauren Halifax, live from Kansas City.
All right, thank you, Lauren. And speaking of some business news tonight, today more companies announced they are temporarily closing due to the coronavirus. Simon Property Group, the largest mall owner in the country, announced it's closing all of its malls and outlets until March 29th. Within the last hour, we've learned Dick's Sporting Goods also announced they're closing tonight and that all of their stores will remain closed for 2 weeks. They are set to reopen on April 2nd. Well, in Colorado, like most states across the country, testing remains a big concern. With more information from the Midwest, let's go live to Erica Gonzalez from KDVR in Denver. Hi, Erica.
Hey, Caroline, tonight here in Colorado, the governor just signed a new order suspending schools until at least April 17th. And also breaking tonight, the state health department just released a new order limiting most gatherings of more than 10 people across the state. Meanwhile, the governor says the state continues to ramp up its ability to test. But the most obvious question tonight is, where can patients go to get tested? Our investigative reporter Rob Lowe has been asking that question.
Saturday at the Denver Coliseum was the last time the state offered drive-up testing on the Front Range. And if you weren't among the first 150 cars in line, you didn't get tested.
The line was so long.
39-year-old Edward Ross spoke to us by phone, saying his doctor wrote him a note last Friday to get tested. But
I asked them where else could I go, and they couldn't give me any answers.
When you go to Colorado's new website, COVID-19, it says how to get tested, but it doesn't say where to get tested. Instead, the website says, ask your provider about private lab sites where you can get tested. But here's the problem. There are no private labs taking samples in Colorado. The private labs say patients have to A, find a doctor or nurse practitioner who has the test, and B, is willing to swab for the test, before C, sending the test off to a private lab like Quest Diagnostics or LabCorp.
I want to know if I'm positive or negative so I can get back to work.
So you've now been waiting 5 days, not to get results, just to get tested.
Yes, sir.
We are expanding testing rapidly as we can.
But at this morning's press conference, Governor Jared Polis could not say if it'll be days or weeks before the state has the capability to do more than 250 tests a day, a fraction of what the governor knows is needed. The problem is a nationwide lack of supplies and trained professionals to administer the tests. Last week, the Problem Solvers told you about A2 Bioscience, a local company that says it can get results in 2 to 10 minutes using rapid tests from China, if the governor is willing to take advantage of an FDA waiver to cut through red tape, something our political reporter Joe St. George asked the governor about.
If you would connect us, Joe, we would be happy to take 100,000 test kits and deploy those as quickly as possible.
If I start having worse symptoms, you better believe me, I'm going to go to the emergency room.
And tonight, the state's mobile testing unit is in the ski resort town of Telluride. That county is now under a shelter-in-place order. Reporting in Denver, I'm Erica Gonzalez.
All right, thank you, Erica. And as many of you know, getting your hands on hand sanitizer is pretty difficult these days. But some distilleries are looking to change that. They're using high-proof alcohol to make the solution. One distillery in Vermont is giving away hand sanitizer. The owner of another in Pennsylvania says he grew so tired of the skyrocketing prices, he's now selling it for whatever people want to pay. Well, in California, there has been some confusion over an order to ban most gatherings. Samantha Cortez and Andy Reesmeyer from KTLA are joining us live now with the latest from the West Coast. Hi, guys.
Hi, Caroline. Thank you. Here's the latest from the West Coast. In Washington State, the number now stands at 1,076 cases of coronavirus with 55 deaths. In Oregon, 68 cases have been confirmed. 835 cases are now confirmed in California. LA County now leads that number of cases at 192. LA County Department of Health Dr. Barbara Ferrer says the number will continue to grow for the next 4 to 12 weeks.
We have cases everywhere in LA County. What we're showing you are those people who have been tested, but you can assume that for every case where we're testing people, there are maybe 5 to 10 cases in all of our communities of people who haven't been tested but are in fact infected with COVID-19 and able to transmit that to others. This is the time for universal precautions.
Also in California, Governor Gavin Newsom is warning schools might be out all the way until the summer. The mayor of Los Angeles is taking steps to help the city's sizable homeless population.
Andy, sizable because 59,000 are homeless here in Los Angeles County. And today the mayor said he is enacting an emergency order which would allow for 42 recreation centers, 1,600 beds by the end of the week. The beds are provided by American Red Cross using city, state, and federal funding, and 7,000 is the goal to get those homeless population into emergency housing. This is so important because, as we've mentioned, and what Northern California is dealing with as well, when and if somebody in the homeless population tests positive, how do they quarantine? How do we keep them from spreading throughout the other homeless population? And that's why they said it's a priority. And making this an emergency order can allow for more funding that can immediately go through to the homeless population, and building tents, recreation centers, as mentioned. Again, 7,000 is the goal in the time being.
And elsewhere in the state, 8 million Californians are under a shelter-in-place order, a mandatory lockdown. It is about 20% of the state's population. Residents of Palm Springs are now among the group. In Ventura County, residents who are 75 years and older and those with underlying health conditions have been ordered to stay home. 10 counties in the Bay Area and Central California are also affected. Exceptions include people going to work, to the grocery store or pharmacy, or if there is an emergency, anyone violating the order could face a misdemeanor charge.
And I do think, and our Mayor Eric Garcetti here in Los Angeles made this pretty clear in his news conference about an hour ago, that shelter in place is typically something used for a natural disaster or an emergency like a shooting. And it is a clarification that he was saying because he doesn't want to spread panic,
right.
But don't go out if you don't have to. You mentioned it. It's essential activities only. So tasks that require your health and or that are required for your health and safety is what's considered essential in California.
Sure. And a local Mexican restaurant in LA has created an emergency taco kit for families to get a meal during the coronavirus crisis. There's also an added bonus to the combo, though, toilet paper, which is increasingly hard to come by. The package from Gorilla Tacos near downtown Los Angeles includes 5 pounds of both roasted chicken, carne asada, lots of tortillas, rice, beans, and salsa, and even 30 eggs. But you get 4 rolls of toilet paper, with that $165 combo. It feeds a family of 4. Orders can be made through their website. All pickup is done through a window to comply with coronavirus prevention measures.
And Andy, the joke was made. I hope the toilet paper isn't a sign of what's needed after the taco.
The joke.
I hope not. Yeah.
Thanks to Robert.
The joke was made.
The joke was made.
The joke was made.
We didn't make
Not
it.
us. People have said.
Our producer Robert is back there as well, helping us out today. And thank you for popping in and saying hello, Robert. We are practicing social distancing here on our set, as I'm sure all of you are in the Next Star Nation as well.
That's your update from the West Coast. We'll send it back to you.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. That's reporters out of California, of course, one of the hardest hit states by the coronavirus. Now, tonight, we're also joined by Washington, D.C. correspondent Morgan Wright. He reports on Senate efforts to get assistance to those already suffering economic hardship because of the coronavirus pandemic.
Massachusetts Senator Edward Markey says today's Senate vote on the House-passed Families First Coronavirus Response Act was long overdue.
We are now 5 days late in voting on the package that passed the House of Representatives last Friday night.
We're talking about a nation in survival mode.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal says the legislation is a good first step. The bill provides money for tests and medical equipment and help for American hourly workers who find themselves unable to work during the coronavirus pandemic.
Putting cash in people's pockets through emergency sick leave and family and medical leave so that people will stay home when they're sick.
Connecticut Senator Chris Murphy says the bill should have done more.
Unfortunately, Republicans in the White House took a lot of the benefit off the table, and so there's not going to be as many people who will get sick pay because of this bill as would have if the White House hadn't been so stingy.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said while the bill is far from perfect, he was voting for it.
But its imperfections will just make our more comprehensive package even more urgent. So we aren't leaving. Everybody understands we aren't leaving until we deliver it.
The Senate is now working on more legislation to help boost the economy and provide direct financial assistance to Americans. Reporting in Washington, I'm Morgan Wright.
Before we leave you tonight, we'd like to remind you what the symptoms of coronavirus are. Doctors say it's shortness of breath, a dry cough, and high fever. If you're feeling these symptoms and you think you could have the virus, you should call your primary care doctor or call ahead before showing up to a walk-in clinic or a hospital to give staff time to prepare. Now, we realize it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the current state of affairs, so we want to end tonight with something that can make you smile. These are students from Chino Hills, California. Their video went viral after their school district's choir festival was canceled, and they took their performance online. As you can hear, they're singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. The chamber singers say they're happy to see their YouTube video is spreading hope and cheer during this difficult time, something we could all use right now. Well, our goal is to make sure you continue to get the latest information on the coronavirus pandemic. We will be back at the same time tomorrow night with stories from across the country. For now, I'm Caroline Goggin. Thank you for joining us.